Hello and welcome back to day 2 of repairing Ricky's ridiculously red wreck of a Rover. Nah, and I mean that with all the love in the world, because I do love these cars. They are fantastic. Had a couple myself, they were really good. Right, what was I doing yesterday? Hang on. Yes, right, so all I need to do today is tidy that up and tidy that up. Now I did go to Halford's earlier on this morning, and they don't have any red paint in this particular shade, so I'm sorry Ricky, you're not having red sills, you're having black ones. Not that it really matters, there's going to be a cover on it anyway, but rather than just plonk a load of underseal on there and there, I'm going to paint them up nicely, so at least it looks pretty and uniform at least. So the plan today, get this side finished off, get it undersealed underneath, hopefully get the car turned round, get it jacked up, get the sill trim off on the other side, and hopefully make a start. It's a whopping 27 degrees already, and I'm already feeling the strain. I ain't even started yet, and so we're just going to take today as it comes. Hopefully I want to get this done before it starts to rain, because I know there's rain forecast for later on in the week, and I don't want to kind of have it put off because of that. So the more I get done, the quicker I can get this ridiculously red Ricky's red Peril Rover back on his drive and off mine. And like I say, I mean that with all the love in the world. So right, stay tuned, let's get cracking. So with a miracle of time, that's the back end linished off. Yeah, I'm quite satisfied with all them welds considering where it is, and I don't want to get my grinder in there too much and create myself more mess. Front end, not too bad. It's a little bit pigeon shitty if I'm honest, but it's on there, it's solid. Underside I've linished all off as well, but just down at this front edge here I've curled up the sill there, and I just need to tack weld that into position. And again, probably just apply a little bit of seam sealer there as well, and I'll do the same here just to make sure that nothing gets in. I've actually decided I've got a lot of stone chip left over from what I bought when I'd done Mrs. Wynn, so I probably am going to mask up all the bottom of the doors, and I'm going to apply some stone chip to all of this sill and the underside, where basically where all them previous repairs were as well. Obviously I've still got, I hope you can get this on camera, the sun is absolutely blaring today, so I do apologise. So yeah, I'm going to weld a new jacking point in there because it does need one. I would imagine at some point, if ever there's a puncture, and given the standard Rover jacks, if ever Ricky does need to jack this car up, he's probably not going to be carrying a trolley jack with him. So I am going to weld in a new jacking point, which I'm going to make in a minute, so I can get all the welding done, tack weld this up there, and then I can give this car a new coat of stone chip, and then I will black it out over the top with normal underseal applied with a roller like I do. Now while I've been under the car, I have found further up there some more of this stone chip that was peeling off. Basically all it is, it's dried out, so it starts to crack, and the problem is when that happens, that's when water gets in and starts to rot everywhere else. Now luckily this has been rusting, but it looks like it's surface rust. But anyway, I think if we can get a new coat of sealer on there, Hopefully it's gonna prolong the life of this car for a little while longer. It is very rusty under here, I will say this. I mean, obviously things like the subframe and the suspension things, these are only powder coated very lightly from the factory. They wasn't given much in the way of protection. And obviously, you know, this car is over 20 years old, so I wouldn't expect it to be pristine under here. But you know, given the car's mileage, you can probably tell it's lived outside all of its life. So yeah, there's plenty to do. It's not as quick as I thought it was going to be, but this is just things that I've picked up while I've been underneath here. And like I says in part 1, that I'm just not one to leave stuff like this if I spot it. It just wouldn't be right, you know, me doing all these repairs here when just over there that could have done with an, you know, just a little bit of wire brushing and treating up a little bit. So while I've got the car, I may as well do it. So bear with me. Right, I need to get my welder back out the van. Oh, I'm getting too old to be on the floor, but here we go. Right, so yeah, that's where we're at. And it's a wonderful 28 degrees now. And I really I'd rather be sat in a pool with a beer, not wearing overalls in the sun, welding a bloody Rover, Ricky, while you're away in your camper van. Oh dear. Love him really. That's it. I've decided I'm downing tools and I'm going camping. I really needed some shade right now. So, sorry, that's it. I'm doing no more. Enjoy the rest of the video. I'm going to sit here under my shade in between a Rover and an Ambassador. And I'm going to enjoy my lovely raspberry mojito. Very nice. Well, if the boss can go on holiday, so can I. Right, excuse the mess. It's blooming hot out there. Right, jacking point. Basically, I've got myself a 3-inch wide piece of steel. This is around about 1.5 mil thick. So what I'll be doing, this is bending it in half and then creating little wings from that. So basically, to bend it in half, which is where the jack would actually go into, and there'll need to be a hole drilled in that anyway, because the jacks have got a little dimple inside. It's basically a U-shaped jack like that, and in the middle there's a dimple there, and it sits in between a little U-shaped hole on the jacking point there. It's to stop it slipping off from side to side. So I'm going to recreate that simply just by drilling a hole in the middle and then bending the metal in half, and then obviously once it's together, that gives me that little U shape, which basically I'll drill through with one of these. I'll probably use a bigger one. I've got a bigger one somewhere, so I'll probably use a bigger one to do that. And yeah, stay tuned and we'll crack on. Ta-da! Okay, so we've got our hole. I've got a halfway mark on here, so let's get this bent in half. Let's do it right now. So this goes in the vise, and as usual, my vise ain't big enough, so it's just going to have to be like that. And I'll move it over to this side, help it along there, and the same again this side. Almost there. And squash it flat. there we go. So all I need to do now is bend this back out, create a pair of wings, cut it to what length I need it to be. There's our jacking point. So I'll just pause the video for now while I tidy this up, and I'll get it bent into shape. Back in a tick. I was just banging then, so I just thought I'll pause the video and saves everything going messy and noisy and whatnot. So here we've got the jacking point. Hope you can see that. So all I need to do now is trim it off, make some nice wings from it, probably along to there, down and like that, same this side, and that's it. What I'll do is I'll drill 3 holes either side, 3 or 4, maybe 5, and what I'll do is I'll do plug welds, so it'll be like a spot weld type effect on there, and I'll probably drop a couple of welds then round the outside, so at least then this will make that part of the car a good double skin, so it'll be with, plus all you've got all the previous repairs there, and now a solid sill. That will give, if it does need to go on a jack for, you know, for emergency roadside wheel changing type of thing, it's got something now substantial there to, so you can jack the car up with. Otherwise other than carrying a trolley jack, I really don't know how this car would have been jacked up. So yeah, for the sake of 5 minutes to make this, another 5 minutes to weld it up, it just makes perfect sense to do it. And you know, it'll save a lot of heartache later on in case there's a puncture. So right, let's get this trimmed up and get it on the car. See you in a bit. Well, I appear to have misjudged Ricky, because while I was mooching in the boot, as you do, for the Rover jack, the scissor jack, I actually noticed that he does actually carry a trolley jack with him, so I must apologise sincerely. I stand corrected, or in this case lie down on the floor corrected. Anyway, there is now a jacking point on the car, and I can confirm that axle stand there is not touching the chassis and is now free, so that, yep, that's free. So that jacking point there is actually now taking the weight of the car, and as you can see, the wheel is off the ground, so that's good. Right, I can now tidy everything up and get this side finished off. All good today. It is very, very hot, don't get me wrong, it is sweltering, so I have created some shade in the help of some old dust sheets that I keep, so it is keeping it fairly cool under here. So where do I need to go? Right then, so I just need to trim this edge of the sill off, just to make it look uniform on this end. We don't want that step there, so I'm going to trim that off, get some stone chip on it and get it undersealed. So bear with me. Wow, even under this shade, it's now what, early afternoon, we're talking about 2 o'clock I think at the minute, and we're up to the 37, 38 degrees. It's absolutely pouring out of me, but I'm keeping my fluids topped up. I'm literally doing 5 minutes under rain, I'm going back in and having a good another half a litre of cold pop, and I'm coming back out here doing a little bit. That's all I'm doing. I mean, this is taking longer than it should because we're trying to video it and all that, but I'm literally spending minutes out here because it is so hot, and I'm quite grateful that I'm not at work this week, but then again, out on the road, you know, we go out, we fix a forklift, we get back in the van and we put the aircon on so we can keep cool. But at the moment, I don't think they'd appreciate me going for a drive around the block every 5 minutes. So far we are up to right, the jacking point in place, tidied up. and as you saw earlier, it was taken away to the car, which I'm very grateful for. Now I've applied some stone chip like I did do to Mrs. Wynne in a other video. So that's, I've gone down the length of the car where I needed to, so there's no bare patches. I've gone under the wheel arch a little bit as well and put some in round by that chassis, and I'll add a little bit more once I get the axle stand out the way, which I'll probably do you know, obviously just before I give it Ricky back, and once I've done the other side I'll get it up on ramps. I'll just give it another good going over under there, I think, or at least have a look, see where it needs it and apply it as per. So that's where we're at. So now this part of the sill, obviously the sill trim covers that, but I am going to give it a coat of black paint, just because I just don't want to see that like that. I was going to paint it red, but like I say, when I went to Alfred's earlier on, they didn't have the paint in stock, and I thought, well, I don't know how long it would take for them to get the paint, so I'm not going to hang on, and it's not going to be seen anyway, but I think with a coat of black paint on, at least it will make it look pretty. But I'm going to underseal under here anyway with a coat of underseal, so it's going to blend in and it's going to look an half decent job at least. So that's where we're at for the time being. Okay, that's the stone chip on, underseal on, and the matte blacking done. I think it's safe to say that that looks a damn sight better than it did. So I do apologise for the hazy picture. Obviously this previous repair that was here before is looking somewhat better. Obviously my repairs are obviously at a better standard. Obviously I've left, I've not undersealed under there yet, because I really want to wait till I've got the front end on ramps. One of them things I want to do before I finish it off and send it back. I ain't going to worry about that stone chip on the exhaust. That'll burn off, probably set fire to the car, but it'll burn off. There we go. No, actually I will give that a wipe over actually with something, as I don't want that to stay on. So anyway, I've tidied up inside the doors, the door shuts as well, with a lot, just tidied up the line of matte black. I'm not sure where the trim comes to. If it's paint's a little bit proud, then it's a little bit proud. And obviously round at this back end there at the final repair, and just going, I've took it into this wheel arch here because I think it was just going to look messy if I didn't anyway, so at least it just tidies it up and gives it a better looking appearance, so to speak. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So I might as well just bang the trim on now. I can get this down off the jack and axle stand, brick, whatever, and I think I'll move the van and get a spun round, I think, and I can make a start on the driver's side. Yeah, as you can see, I've took my shade down because the sun did go in and it started to cool down, but it's gone. Sun's come out and gone hot again, so yeah, great. So let's pop the trim back on before we let it down, and let's see what it looks like. So that's the passenger side complete. Right, there we go. Sill trim all back on and fixed. I did have to drill a new hole for the side trim, just the side fixing that goes there, and drill a new hole for the trim fixing that goes underneath around about here. That was basically the only modifications I had to make. That floor underneath now is looking absolutely superb. Hope you can See that? That's looking brilliant under there now. Really happy with that, how that's turned out. Yeah, the matte black line, I did, obviously does protrude above the trim a little, but it was basically a continuation because of this repair that went on here, because I couldn't get no red paint. So I thought matte black would look better, and of course this bubbly bit of arch there as well, so I thought best thing to do is to just continue it on, but it doesn't look too out of place. So there we go, that's this side complete, looking quite tidy. Obviously I've blacked the trims up a little bit. Obviously you've got to apply a little bit of bullshit, haven't you? Black the tyres out as well. But I must say it does look rather nice. So that's the passenger side complete on Ricky's racing red ravish Rover thing. So will there be a part 3 for the driver's side? Who knows? I must admit it's still blooming hot, and it's gone 5 o'clock. I think it's near 6 o'clock now. So I think video wise, I think it would be best to wrap this one up as part 2, and I'm going to basically now get the car turned round and get it jacked up, get the trim off, do all the recordings as per usual, and see how I get on. I mean, it is starting to cool down a little. There's a bit of a breeze now, so it's not too bad now. So while I'm in the mood, and it's still only day 2 really, if I can get cracking on the driver's side, hopefully the weather holds up tomorrow and I can continue and get it finished. And I can't remember how bad the driver's side were. I really can't remember. So I think it's just a case of get the trim off, have a look, see what we got, and go from there as we did the passenger side. So if you're still watching by this time, thank you very much indeed. Hope you like the work and the videos that have been going on for the last however on this car. All good fun. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. The usual stuff, like, subscribe and all that, and we'll catch you again in part 3. Right, you take care people, have fun, stay safe, cheerio.